What's up, everyone? We got a special guest today. Today we have Texas State defensive lineman Phillip Bradford. Last year, Phillip had 40 tackles, 3 pass deflections, and even 2 interceptions. Phillip, thank you for coming on, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you for having me.
Tell everybody about yourself.
I'm a defensive lineman at Texas State, senior, transferred from McNeese.
Tell everybody about your fraternity. Tell everybody a little about yourself, your background.
Okay, yeah, I'm a member of the Vegas High Five across the McNeese. Too, my guys over there. My background came from Monroe, Louisiana. Went to Washita Parish High School. 3 years out of my four. My junior year, I spent some time in Fort Worth. Went to Southwest High School. And went
When
to
did you?
McNeese 4 years.
Okay. So when did you first fall in love with football? Like when did you know football was for you?
Actually, when I first started playing football, I wasn't good. I wasn't very good at all. So I say, no, I wasn't good at all. So when I fell in love with playing football, it was probably around either seventh or eighth grade. When I finally started like getting the logistics of how everything went. So I say by my eighth grade year, that's when I really like fell in love with football.
Okay. So when you first got to McNeese your freshman year, I know you had a little situation. Tell us about what happened your freshman year, the adversity you had to face.
So my freshman year actually went pretty fine. It was that winter of my coming into my sophomore year. I was around 290 something pounds, and I ended up falling to 20 209 somewhere in that range because I got medically diagnosed with diabetes. So that came out of nowhere, and it was some trials and tribulations with those things. A little some little battles I had to go through.
So when you dropped from 290 to 219, like what was going through your mind?
I mean, what was going through my mind would most necessarily go through anybody's mind that was playing football, especially as a D lineman, like, will I ever get back to that? Would I ever be good again? 2019, that's not a good weight for a D lineman. So it's
Yeah.
like, would I ever be, back to my old self again? That was really was going through my mind. And like, you feel me? I kind of felt down about it. So that's really what went through my mind at that point.
Did you ever like when you were getting back, trying to gain that weight back? Was there anything physically like that was a challenge for you that you had to overcome that probably wasn't a big deal, but it ended up working out for you fine? Did I ask that the right way? If you get what I'm saying?
Like, you trying to ask like, what was the like hardships of getting back to like right now, like the weight
Yeah, like
wise?
like at that weight, like being 219. What was like the
Mhm.
hardest thing for you trying to get back
The
to your
hardest,
regular weight?
I say, the hardest thing about dropping weight and trying to get a lot of weight back is really the eating part. People
Yeah,
really like, you're not hungry, so
yeah.
you got to eat though. But I had to switch up my routines. I went from like eating like once, twice to eating 3 times, and then I had like a little snack in between those 3 meals. So that probably was the hardest part about getting back to weight.
I seen another interview you talked about your faith. How did your faith
It's,
impact what you had going on at the time?
well, I have a strong foundation back at home, so I was always raised up in the church, to believe in God. So that was one of the things that I had to fall back on, my faith. I feel like God put me through that for a reason. Like, I was holding football to like this high standard, to where the point was like, okay, now God took it away from me, so I can get closer to with Him, essentially. So once I started looking at it that way, a lot of things started to finally work out for me. I started gaining my weight back, so
Yeah.
I feel like everything that I went through it for a reason.
So what would you tell a young kid that's going through something similar?
Man, actually, it's crazy that you asked that. I actually had a kid who, back when I was at McNeese, Coach Peg, he called me up to his office and told me like, yeah, man, it's this kid. He want to talk to you. He had diabetes. I'm real close with his mom, real close with him. So they brought me in to talk to him. You know, um, he was like, feeling down by himself because he wanted to play
Yeah.
sports and things like that. So once I realized that, like, okay, God put me in this position so I can help out other people, you know, I really feel like, okay, if he can go through it, I should have no issues with going through what I go through. So yeah, I actually told him, it's multiple guys in the NFL who struggle with diabetes and they are fine. So I'll say, like, what I'll say to a kid who's feeling down about it is like it's not something that you should fear. Now we have like medicine, that can help you out, things like that. So you still a normal kid, you can be a normal kid, do normal things. So that's what I tell somebody who,
Yeah.
is in that position.
Do you feel like that adversity made you a better football player?
Most definitely, if I can get through what I got through, who's to tell me I can't,
Yeah.
defeat a double team or get a 4th-and-1 stop. The things that I've been through in life are bigger than football. So football just comes like real natural. So I don't have to force anything.
Versus Northwestern State last year, you had 4.5 tackles for a loss. You
Yes.
had 2 sacks. Like, was that like a turning point for you after that game when you was like I'm now the player that I know I can be?
Even though I had that game, I feel like I'm still developing as a player. I feel like that night I was most definitely putting people on notice, I should say. Um, Even though I did have those stats, I feel like I left a lot of plays out there on the field. So I still have a lot of learning to do. But I think after that night, people took notice. They wrote down my name, and I feel like they're keeping track now.
How did it feel to win Southland Conference Player of the Week that week?
Man, um, to win that, if it took a lot of weight off my shoulders, I should say. I feel like after winning that, I feel like all the hard times and everything I've been through, it it kind of started paying off.
Yeah.
So I should say, yeah, it made me feel like everything. It happened for a reason, and yeah, God just blessed me.
Yeah, because it felt like a couple times you had some of them games like he gonna win it this,
Yeah, I
and they
actually
didn't give
thought,
it to you. So like I finally saw you win. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, like
yeah,
that
I
was
actually
real
thought I was
good.
gonna win it against Weber when we played that
Hmm.
game. So I feel like, yeah, I put the Southland on notice with that game.
So pivoting away from McNeese now, what went into your decision to transfer to Texas State and follow your position coach? Right, your position coach
Hmm.
at Texas State. Did that play a big part in you transferring there?
Most definitely, I feel like as a football player, you're always looking for somebody who really has your best interest.
Yeah,
And Coach G, he's since I've been with Coach G, I feel like I had my best year of college football, and off and on the field. Coach G, he's one of those coaches who know he's always gonna look out for you, gonna have your best interest. He's gonna tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And it's always best for a football player to have that in his corner. And then why not transfer to where I felt like I had my best year with this coach? Why not transfer over there to a bigger
yeah,
stage, bigger level, to show what I really can do on a bigger stage so I can, really like try to pursue my dreams going to the NFL.
I feel you. How does this system fit your strengths?
Man, okay, so this system really fits my strengths because it allows me to play really fast. I have a good DC, coach who just transferred in from South Al. They led the conference and TFL. So I led the conference and TFLs too. So when you about tackles for loss, if you really look at it from that aspect, you get a guy who led the conference in from TFLs, and you put him in defense who led the conference in TFLs. It really fits my strengths really well.
Is there any big difference between Texas and Louisiana? Like so far, I know you haven't been there a crazy amount of
Yeah.
time. But like, would you say there's any differences? Like
Uh,
off the field?
Off the field, I mean, it's a lot of more like it's a lot of more buildings and like things like that.
Yeah,
Like more like clothes, things you can like actually go do compared to where I was in Louisiana. So say
Yeah.
that, yeah. So
What?
San Marcos is a really big like party
Yeah.
school too. So yeah.
So like going back to the football side of it, are there guys like in the NFL like defensive tackles film you love to study?
Um, One of the main guys I like to watch, I say Chris Jones or like Jalen Carter. Yeah, one of them two guys. Like I like the way they play, the motor, the twitchiness. So then they're really like bigger guys, you know. So I say them two for the most part. Yeah,
Who would you say are the top four defensive linemen in the NFL right now?
most part I say I really like Kobe Turner. You know, one of the more twitchier guys too. But overall, defensive lineman wise, you know, you got to put Miles Garrett at the number one spot after what he just did, and then you got for me, Max Crosby's up there too, and then got to show love to the D lineman. I say, well, we're going all time with this right now in the
Right
league.
now. You can say right now,
Right
yeah.
now in the league, yeah, Kobe Turner for me is up there, and he had a very, very explosive year. So and then I say, D line wise, and then come on now, Green Bay,
Michael Parsons.
yeah, Michael Parsons.
Michael Parsons,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. So you had two interceptions last year. So would you rather have an interception, a strip sack, a scoop and score, or a pick six?
Okay, so with having the two pick six, I'm a little biased. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with right now. I want to like get a like tomahawk strip sack and actually scoop it up myself and score. So I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
combine those two. Don't say that. Need to put
Yeah.
that on my resume.
Okay. So before every game, do you have like a favorite pregame meal, or maybe like a meal you eat before the game, like, or is it just like
Uh,
whatever?
the one before like the meals I used to have before McNeese, I probably grilled or baked chicken with like
Yeah.
the green with greens, carrots, and then like broccoli cheese casserole. Those are the good
Okay.
ones. Yeah. So I do that right there. That'll give me a lot of energy right there.
Okay. You said energy. So what's your hype
Mhm.
music before every game?
So most people really don't know this, but like when I'm going into a game, I really don't try to get too hyped. So I really
Yeah,
like
I've
listen
heard
to
that
like
before.
some like real soft, like Tim's, some of the like the Summer Walker songs, something like that, you feel me? Like
Yeah.
real slow country songs. And then like I say like 5 minutes before we go out, that's when I'm turning on my young boy, things like that, get the juices flowing, and I'm ready to play.
What motivates you every time you step out on the field? Like, is this something you say to yourself before every snap, or like before every play? Like, is there like what motivates you?
Man, what motivates me, I'm always see my mom, getting her to a better position, better spot. I actually play with my little brother, so I wanted to be like a role model he can go look after. But something I can say that's personal, like driving me, is I feel like coming out of high school, everybody doubted me, so I love to prove haters wrong. Some people talked about me. Some people said I want to be this, I want to be that. So I love to prove people wrong.
Yeah,
I say that's a big thing. I say to myself every snap, or like actually when I'm actually out there, like that person is trying to stop me to get where I'm trying to go in life. So I have to, do what I got to do to get through that.
I feel that. So let's dream for a minute. Let's say
Mhm.
Phillip Bradford doesn't play football. Like football, like doesn't exist. What is
Right.
Phillip Bradford doing right now?
So right now, my mom always preached to me get my degree. So
Mm,
that's really what I'm looking to do. Trying to get my degree, get my master's in business.
yeah,
Take off from there.
I feel that. Phillip, thank you for coming on, man. How can everybody check out everything you got going on?
Nah, for real. Appreciate you for having me. But y'all can follow me at Bradford Phillip on Instagram. That's where I be at most of my time. So yeah,
Appreciate you, Phillip. Thank you guys, and we're out.
appreciate you.